Welcome to episode 10 of Benjamin at Work and Plain Space Design. In this episode, I plan to start a conversation about the enigmatic and elusive eureka moment that I am hoping you will join. Have you ever had a eureka moment? I have had many of them, and I would sum a description of the experience up with a probably common reference to an analogous experience that I'm not going to mention because some things are better left unsaid. I will tell you, however, that one such eureka event is going to be part of the new business for this episode. Before we get to that, I'm going to go back and fill in the blanks about some things that we have touched on in the past. Here is the old business. Last week, I did some back of the envelope work that I did not tell you about. I'm going to share that with you in this episode. Control algorithm development was one of those topics. I have started the development of control algorithms for the translational oscillators that are based upon linear regression methods. They will be nearly perfectly suited for controlling the machines that I am designing, and they offer opportunities to develop them into even more advanced control algorithms for the challenging type of systems that I work with. Here's a rough sketch of a thrust structure that I could use inside the CubeSats that I am going to install my propulsion system in. Also are sketches of the thrust rods. These are just preliminary sketches, and they may or may not become the actual thing that I will use. Here you're looking at the back of the envelope ellipse calculations that I was doing last week. In these calculations, I start with the circularized ellipse formula, and I begin to work backwards to try to develop equations in terms of the parameter that are different from the parameters that are developed with the normal perimeter equation so that we may be able to avoid the difficulties. These equations are in terms of tangent and cotangent. Eventually, I arrived at some double integrals in terms of the differentials for the y variable and for the semi-major axis, and that would be added to a double integral with differentials in terms of the independent variable x and the semi-minor axis, so that's dx and db. The equations that I was trying to reach would have been developed in terms of the area of the ellipse, which was one of the possible directions that I proposed when I started. And now for the new business. Eureka! You have probably heard that cry made by eccentric characters at the moment that they received some great insight about a problem that has been insurmountably plaguing them for a long time. The image does not exaggerate the feeling that this moment brings. I had another eureka moment this week regarding the problems of propulsion using a machine such as the translational oscillator to ride the gravity highways of outer space. It was more a wish than a need. I wished that there was such a thing as a momentum rectifier that would allow things in space to move in one direction only. I asked some fellow engineers that I talked with on the phone, was there such a thing? And they answered that they had never heard of one. I knew that I would have to invent it if I was going to have it. Well, this week I am almost there because I have created a concept that will either be a momentum rectifier or will help me eliminate one of the apparent promising possibilities. Either way, it is a win for me. I am inclined to keep this one proprietary, however, as I had already planned to start patenting inventions when this device would be invented. The only thing that will change my mind is if this discussion should go viral, and I am swamped with comments asking me to please reveal this. That might be enough to open the treasure chest up. Maybe. I will just tell you that with a momentum rectifier available for use in my designs, I will shed so many limits on how fast and far ships can go using translational oscillators. It is the answer to the mutual force conundrum that is dragging the performance of my propulsion designs down.